Hello everybody, it's Maikito. Quickly going over yesterday's picks. As I'm recording this video, there's still one game to go, but as of the ones that I've already played, currently 3-0. We have one DMP, Sierra didn't start, but Henry Martin higher than 2.5 shots hit. America Moneyline versus Querétaro hit, and then if you took the over 2.5 goals, you hit on that one as well. And then the women's Austria Moneyline against Poland hit as well. Sorry, that one was the one where I said lean over 2.5 goals. That one hit as well. So currently 3-0. All we have is Reynoso. But as of now, we're sweeping the day. So great day today. And then tomorrow, we have a lot of MLS games. And then we have the third place game between Canada and Uruguay. I'm looking. There's not too many props up. I did find at least a couple that I wanted to give out to you guys. So I can make a video for you guys and give you out some props. But as of now, there's not a lot of props out. So either later tonight or after this video, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, I'll likely add more plays, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. I add them in the YouTube description of this video, latest video, so you can keep an eye out for that, because we'll probably for sure add more plays because there's not that many up right now. But like I said, I did have some that I did like, so I'll get straight into those. The first one is Iander to go higher than 2.5 shots, playing for Portland, going up against Salt Lake City. He averages 3.1 shots at home, which is what we need him to take. We just need him to get those 3. And he's gone over in his last 4 out of 5 games. And the one game where he didn't go over, he had 2, and he was playing as a center defensive midfielder. But he's very likely, I predicted him to play as a center attacking mid this game. In the 4 that he went over, that's what he was playing as. And Salt Lake go from allowing 10.9 shots at home all the way to 16.3 away, which is a big difference, which is good for us. We just need him to take 3 out of those 16, which I believe he will. He played against them twice last year, and he went over in 1 out of those 2 games. The war where he went under was when he was playing more as a center midfielder, like a defensive one, not really as an attacking one. And then the war when he went over, he had played as a center attacking mid. He had 4. We need him to take those 3. And if you look at his shot chart, over half of his shots that he takes are from outside the box. So he's willing to take those shots, which is what we need him to do. And I expect this to be a close game because while Salt Lake still allow a lot of shots away from home, they're not necessarily good shots. They're still relatively good defensively away from home. So I expect this to be a close game. And because Salt Lake allow all those shots, he's going to be taking them to try to find some type of way to beat them. Average 3. We need him to take 3. I like Iander to go higher than 2.5 shots. My next play is Cucho Hernandez to go lower than 5.5 shots, playing away for Columbus going up against LAFC. While he does average 6 shots taken away from home, he's going against the best home team in the league and the best team in the Western Conference. And the MLS is divided between East and West, and they're playing against the best team in the Western Conference in offense and defense. LAFC only allow 11.6 shots at home, and Columbus take 12.5 shots away from home. And if you want to be generous, like I said, they take 12.5 shots at home, and LAFC allow 11. If you want to be generous and say that Columbus are going to take, 14 shots at home in case they have, a little better of a game. Even in the games where Columbus has taken 14 shots or less, he's gone under 5.5 shots in his last 10 out of 10 games. So I just think this is too high of a mark. I feel like this would be a good mark if they're maybe playing at home. But they're playing away where they're worse offensively, and they're playing against a really good team defensively. I just think this is a bad matchup for him, and he's not going to have too many chances. And it's not like LAFC have too many injuries. They only have 1, but they've still been playing well without him. So I just think this is a terrible matchup for him. Too high of a mark. I like Cucho Hernandez to go lower than 5.5 shots. And then my last prayer pop that I have is for the Uruguay-Canada game, playing for Uruguay. And Federico Valverde to go higher than 1.5 shots. He's gone over in 4 out of the 5 games this tournament. The only one he went over was this last game against Colombia, where they took 11 shots. And Colombia has just been the most surprising team this tournament by far. They've been playing really good, and I expect them to take way more shots against Canada. Uruguay took 12 against the U.S., 12 against Brazil, 18 against Bolivia, and then 20 against Panama. So when they're playing these weaker teams, for example, Bolivia and Panama, they will take those shots. And he went over in all of those games previously mentioned. And Canada, on the other hand, had let Argentina take 19. They had 9 and 8 allowed against Chile and Peru. But Chile and Peru had a red card, so they were a man down, so you can't really blame them for that. And they still were managed to take 9 and 8. And then they allowed Venezuela to take 15, and then Argentina in this last game took 11, but that's because they played a lot more defensively in the second half. So I expect at least around 15 shots to be on the generous side for Uruguay. And Valverde takes those long shots. He's a box-to-box midfielder, so he's back and forth. And in this game, it's the third place game, and not to sound disrespectful to Canada or anything like that, but Uruguay, I do not expect them to try to lose against Canada or like not play well. It'd be embarrassing for them to lose against Canada, so I expect them to still go out there and still try to go for that third place. And Valverde's going to be there. He's gone over in all 4 out of 5 games except for that one. And now going against a weaker team defensively, I expect them to go over. It's Federico Valverde to go higher than 1.5 shots. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito, link in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And if you don't know, there's currently a free prop for those. It's Gunnar Henderson. In 3 days, they play the home run derby. He needs to get one. It's a free prop that you can get. You can sign up using my code. You get that. And new members that also sign up, you also already get a free one on top of the Gunnar Henderson. So just for signing up using my code, you're going to get 2 free plays that you can play. So you might as well take advantage of that. And then I also have the YouTube memberships for those that don't know. It's for those that want to get the content out early to try to avoid potential bumps and plays getting taken away. And it's also a good way to support the channel if you guys are ever interested in that. And then I also have my Cashapp and Fliff in the description. You want to use those. And I really appreciate anybody who supports me in any way. I found 2 money line plays that I did like. Again, might add more. I just wanted to do something that I feel safer with, just due to lineup purposes and stuff. But I could add more. But for the first one, it's the Houston Dynamo money line going up against Minnesota. Houston have won 4 out of their 10 home games, but out of those 10, they tied 4, and they've only lost 2. And the reason why is because they've scored 12 in those 10 games, and they've only conceded 9 goals in those 10 games. So they're really good defensively, which is what I think is going to put them over the mark against this Minnesota team, who have lost 6 out of 11 away games. They've scored 19 in those 11 and conceded 23, so their defense is lackluster and their offense is decent. But against this Houston Dynamo team, who is a really good defensive team at home, I expect them to struggle. And Minnesota in general have lost their last 5 out of 5 games straight. They're on a losing streak, and even the 2 before that, they've drawn both of those games. So they're just in bad form in general, and I think a lot of that has to do with I mentioned Reynoso in the last video. He was in that team last season, and now they're missing him, that creative and attacking playmaking role that they had him as an attacking midfielder. They've lost that, so now they're struggling to attack, and now defensively they were already lackluster. And they go from taking 15 shots at home all the way down to 11 away. And then Houston only allowed 10 shots at home. So they're gonna be just struggling in general. And Minnesota, when they play defense, they are actually good at home. They've only allowed 9 at home, but now that they're playing away, they allow 15. So I think this is a good matchup for Houston, offensively and defensively, for them to exploit these matchups. They've been in pretty decent form as well. Like I said, they've only lost 2 away games, or home games, sorry, and that's because they are good defensively. So they just need to take advantage of that offensive matchup. So I like the Houston Dynamo money line against Minnesota. My last money line prop that I did like is, I mentioned it a little bit before, is the Uruguay money line against Canada. They won 3 out of their 5 games this tournament. They tied against Brazil and then lost this recent one against Colombia. And even in that one where they tied Brazil, they still beat them in penalties. Just wanted to put that out there. And Canada, on the other hand, have lost 2 out of their 5 games, and they've only won 1 out of the 5. So very, very unlikely that they beat Uruguay. They lost to Argentina twice. Those were the 2 that they lost. And then they beat Peru, but that was due to Peru having a red card, so they were a man down. And 2, the best player in the whole game was their goalkeeper, Canada's goalkeeper. So he saved them in that game. And then they tied Chile due to Chile also having a red card early on in the game. And the best player in that game was also the goalkeeper. So they had 2 man of the match performances from the goalkeeper that saved them. And they tied with Venezuela, which they ended up beating them in penalties. But I don't expect this game to go to penalties. And Uruguay are just a much better team in general. So I believe they take advantage of those chances that they're going to get. while sure the goalkeeper might get 1 or 2, I don't expect him to have another man of the match performance. And like I mentioned before, I just feel like this is just one of those where Uruguay do not want to lose to Canada. It'd be embarrassing for them to go out and then get 4th place and lose to Canada. So I just think this one where Uruguay still have something to prove and prove that they're still a really good team. So I just believe this is just Uruguay just being a much better team than Canada. I like the Uruguay money line against Canada. Thank you everybody for watching. If you could like the video and comment as well, it helps boost the video out to more people. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified when the video comes out as soon as you can. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good day, a good night. We can carry on the momentum to tomorrow and have another good day.